Hey everyone, this is Mr. Escamilla, and today I'm going to be guiding you through the GMetrix Practice Exam 1 for Adobe Animate. So go ahead and click Start, and make sure on this screen that you change the mode to Training, then click Start Test. And we are going to go through the Adobe Animate Practice Exam 1 test together. If you do not see the questions when you start the exam, you may need to click Window Extensions and then click on GMetrix FL Lita, and then you can drag the questions over here to the right like I have. Task 1, which Creative Commons license allows users to copy and distribute the material in any medium or format in updated form only for non-commercial purposes only, and only so long as attribution is given to the creator? And the correct answer for this one is going to be this third option. The key thing that should tip you off is that it says non-commercial purposes only. The little money symbol with a slash through it means that people cannot use it for commercial purposes such as selling. And attribution being given to the creator means that they have to give you credit for that. That's what the little human symbol means. And so if you click on that, that should be the correct answer for task 1. Moving on to task 2, we are to duplicate the tween1 asset in the library and name it tween1 copy. So this tween here, you should be able to right click, select duplicate, make sure it says tween1 copy, which is the default text, and then click OK. And that should be the correct answer for task 2. Moving on to task 3. This says here, on the gradient for the shape on the left side of the stage, change the second color of the gradient to 66FF00, then rotate the gradient so that the color flows light green to light blue, top to bottom. So to do this in the Tools panel, we'll need to select our selection tool right here. Then we're going to select the shape with the gradient right here. And then it tells us to click the color palette and to double click the second gradient stop. So we need to bring up our color palette. And here you'll notice that you have both colors that are on this gradient. We need to double click the second gradient stop here. And this is where we can type the number that it needs to be, which in this case it's 66FF00. It's a green color. And now we've done the first part of this. We've changed it from blue to green. And now we need to go to our Tools panel and click the Gradient Transform tool. And so if we look for that, that is going to be where the Free Transform tool is, right here. So underneath the Free Transform tool, you'll see that Gradient Transform tool. And what you'll do is, it says in the Tools panel, click the Gradient Transform tool. Then it says to click the Rotation tool on the top right of the shape and drag it 90 degrees counterclockwise. And this is going to be so that way when we what we're going to try to do is rotate the gradient so the color flows light green to light blue from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to click on the top of the graphic and move it down. Click the rotation tool on the top right. Oh, okay, I see. Here's the rotation tool on the top right of the shape itself. Oh, okay. So when you click on that little rotation tool, you can drag it to where you want to drag it to where the green is at the top and it slowly shifts to blue at the bottom. And that should be the correct answer. Moving on to task 4, we're going to add a slow stop and start ease to the motion tween in this current video clip. This is what it looks like so far. But this is a animation that does not have that ease in and ease out keyframes. So what it says here is to double click the first frame in the motion layer. So we have the motion layer right here. We're going to click it. It actually says to double click it. So if you double click it, we're going to click this add ease button. And we're going to click the triangle to the left of the stop and start ease category to expand that category. And we're going to want to click on slow. Now you'll notice that when we play this, whenever the animation starts, it starts off a little bit slower. And that should be the correct answer for task 4. Moving on to task 5, it says in the current file, medium size 2, unlock the color panel and then use the undocked color panel to change the fill color of the rectangle. So we're going to click and drag the color panel to the stage area. I'm going to bring that up and pull it up to this area. Now we're going to click the selection tool and click the fill color on the rectangle near the top of the stage right here. And it says to click the color palette in the colors panel. Make sure that the fill color and not the stroke color is selected, which we do have the fill selected right now. And for the fill color, we're going to change this to 00FF00. And that should be the correct answer for task 5. We'll move on to task 6. It says here, in the tweens4.fla file, apply a bevel filter to the object on the classic layer. Set the blur X and Y settings to 8 pixels and save the filter as a preset with the name 8pixel bevel. So it says here to click the object on the classic layer, which is this blue shape right here. And it says to display the properties panel. So I'm going to go to Window and click on Properties right here. And then it says, if necessary, click the triangle to the left of the filter group in order to expand the group, which is down here at the bottom of the properties panel. And we're going to click on the plus sign here and click bevel. And notice that that added a bevel effect to this layer that we have selected here in the timeline. Now it says under the bevel drop down, click in the blur X field and change it to 8 pixels. So right here where it says 4, we'll change it to 8. And then in the blur Y field, it should also be 8. And we actually didn't have to type 8 in the blur Y because of this lock icon. That makes it to where both of them are the same number. Now it wants us to click the options drop down. This is a gear shape below the filter group on the right, which is this little icon. And we're going to say save as preset because it says we want to call this 8pixel bevel. So go ahead and name it that with a capital E, a capital P, and a capital B. There should be no spaces between these words, and then you're going to click OK. And then if you click next, we'll move on to task 7. Oh, I got that wrong. Let me try that one more time. Maybe I missed a step. We're going to click on the classic layer. Want to make sure that this is selected. And then in the properties panel, we have to go to filters. We need to add a bevel. Then we're going to make the blur 8 pixels, which I did that. We have the bevel effect there. Then in the options group, we need to click save as preset. And we're going to call this 8pixel bevel. and then click OK. Preset with that name already exists. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, overwrite that. And that should be correct. We have successfully applied a bevel filter to the object, set the blur to 8 pixels, and we saved it as a filter with the name 8 pixel bevel. And I clicked OK. So let's see how this pans out. Okay, I'm not sure what I did different on that second attempt. If anyone notices, let me know. I'm quite curious. That seemed like I did the exact same thing. Task 7, on the current stage, it says to add a brushed line with the following 3 characteristics. The line should extend along the bottom of the stage. So we're going to need our paintbrush tool. In the tools panel, look for the, not the classic, but just the standard paintbrush tool. That's the fluid brush tool, looking for the paintbrush tool. And it's actually right here. If you click on the more icons, at least on my computer, if you don't see it on your end, it may be in those little 3 dots. There's the paintbrush tool. So I'm going to click on that so that way I'm going to put it over here and actually click on it so that way I can see that I have it selected. So I now have the paintbrush tool selected. And it says in the properties panel, we're going to click the triangle to expand color and style group, which it's already expanded right here. And it says if necessary, click the, click the stroke color palette. And we're going to set the stroke to this number right here, 33. It's going to be number 33CCF. It's this blue color. And we're going to click the stroke size, which is already set to 3. So just 3.00, that equals 3. And then we're going to click the brush library button in order to open the brush library. It says or you can just open the brush library. So looking for the brush library button. I wonder if I go here. You can also go window brush library to open that up. That's just what I decided to do. I'll move that over here. And it says click pattern brushes. So we have arrows, artistic, decorative. I'm looking for pattern brushes. We're going to go to the decorative category, and we're going to get this accordion fold brush. And last step is to just click and drag along the bottom part of the stage. All right. Simple enough. Got that incorrect. Let's try that again. I felt like I followed all the steps. So we have our paintbrush tool selected. It says here in the properties panel, expand the color and style group. Click the stroke. Make sure it's set to 33CCFF. Have a stroke of 3. Click the brush library. Go to pattern brushes, decorative, accordion fold. And then to click and drag along the bottom part of the stage, maybe I need to go all the way from the left to the right. And this actually looks more like the accordion fold. Maybe it didn't apply to my last stroke. My last stroke didn't quite look like that. It's still not getting it correct. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. I have this is the paintbrush tool with the correct color, the correct size, the correct pattern brush that's decorative with an accordion fold, and we need to add a brushed line with the following characteristics. It should extend along the bottom of the stage. Okay, well I'm gonna draw along the bottom here. And this doesn't look like the accordion fold. There we go. That looks like the accordion fold. So I've drawn along the bottom. Let's see if I can get this one correct. It's not giving it to me. So I'll try one more time. If it says no, we'll just move on to the next one. But it says here to have the paintbrush tool selected, properties panel, in the color and style group have 33CCFF, which it is. Oh, there's my problem. I think it was a different shade of blue. Okay, well, I'm not editing this video, so thank y'all for bearing with me and seeing me do that a few times. Then brush library, pattern brushes, decorative, accordion, fold, click and drag along the bottom of the stage. And I want to make sure that I'm using that accordion fold. I feel like it should have more of a pattern. Okay, let's see what that was the problem. Was the color? No. Okay, I'm going to check that one out later and we'll tackle it together. Task 8 on the Tweens 4 FLA file, convert the bitmap of the following projector to a vector graphic. Use a color threshold of 5 and make the curve fit tight. So it says click the bitmap of the film projector, which is on the bitmap layer. It's all of this stuff here is on that bitmap layer, but we're going to want to click specifically this projector. And then in the modify menu, we're going to want to hover over bitmap and we're going to select trace bitmap. And then it says in the color threshold, we're going to change the value from 100 to 5. Click the drop down arrow next to curve fit and click tight. And then we'll click OK. So we have successfully converted it to a vector graphic and it changes the look of it a little bit. All right, moving on to task 9. We need to import the pingwing.psd file onto the stage as a movie clip with the name pingwing feed. Make sure that the text is editable. We'll click File, Import, Import to Stage. You're going to need to go to where this Penguin PSD is at, and it's kind of in a very convoluted area. In order to start following the path, you have to click on your hard drive, click Macintosh HD, and now you can start following along from right here where it says Library. It's going to be Application Support, Adobe, CEP, Extensions, GMetrix Templates, Animate CC Lida, and there is the Penguin, and now we can click Open. And it tells us some options that we can click on. We need to click the bitmap image with editable layer styles. And we want to select the Create Movie Clip box, which is right here. And then for the instance name, we want this to be called Penguin Feed. And then you can import it. And now we have successfully imported the Penguin onto the stage as a movie clip with that name, Penguin Feed. And the text is editable because we did indicate that in the settings. So y'all can go ahead and click Next. And moving on to task 10, we're on the Tweens F4 FLA file. We're going to apply a 10 pixel fill using the color CCCCCCC to the line at the bottom of the screen. So we're changing this line. So in order to do this, we're going to select the line at the bottom of the stage. Then it says click the Properties panel and click the Expand to Fill icon, which is probably going to be one of these. This first one here, you're going to click that Expand to Fill icon. And then for the fill color, we're going to change it here to CC, 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 which should change from 0, 0, 0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 C's. And it still is shifting to black for some reason. Okay, it's the color, it's this grayish color. I'm just going to click it here because for some reason when I typed it, it kept shifting. Now we're going to click the Modify menu and click Shape, and we're going to click Expand Fill. And we're going to set the distance to 10 pixels. Click the OK button, and notice this gets bigger. So we've successfully applied a 10 pixel fill using this grayish color to the line at the bottom of the screen. You can go ahead and click Next, and that should be the correct answer for task 10. It is not the correct answer. I may have missed a step. Let's try one more time. Clicking the line at the bottom of the stage. In the Properties panel, I'm clicking the Expand to Fill icon. I'm changing the fill color to this gray. And then I'm clicking the Modify menu, selecting Shape, Expand Fill, setting the distance to 10, and click OK. We want to expand it. So that should be correct. If it's not, I don't know what I did there in that second attempt, different from the first one. Let me know if you noticed. I am quite curious. Here's task 11. We're going to add a video component below the title on the stage. Set the source of the video component to the pudding.mp4 file in the student folder. So to do this, we need to go to Window, Components, which is right here. And we need to click the arrow to the left of the video folder to expand the folder. And we're going to click and drag the video component to the stage, placing it below the Pudding Tips title. So I'll put it below that. And it says a component with this name already exists. I'm going to say use existing component. Now it says here, click the Properties panel. And it's already open here. It says click the Show Parameters button, which Show Parameters button. I wonder if when I dragged the video, if I needed to, it never tells me what to say to this pop-up here. It says a component with, let me try replace existing component and see if that makes a difference. And then, I mean, I do already have properties open, so this is it. And I'm going to click the Show Parameters button, which is probably one of these. It's going to be this button right here, y'all. Apologize for that delay. And it says click the pencil on the source line. And we're going to click the Browse Folder button right here. And this is where you can select the Pudding video clip. If you're not sure where it's at, I'll recap that once again. You click the hard drive, go Macintosh HD, Library, Application Support, Adobe, CEP, Extensions, GMetrix Templates, Animate CC, and there's the pudding.mp4. And you're going to go ahead and click OK. It'll generate, and now that will be put on that video clip. And we'll go ahead and click Next. And move on to task 12. It says click the tool that will select the same or similar color of a bitmap graphic. The correct answer for selecting color obviously will be that magic wand. Moving on to task 13. It says modify the current document to use inches as its measurement and set the color to 999999 as its stage color. Change the stage width to 8 inches and the height to 6 inches. So you'll need your selection tool, and we're going to click in the pasteboard area to deselect the stage and everything on the stage. And then we're going to want to go to the properties panel. It says, if necessary, click the triangle next to document settings, which is right here. I don't need to click it. It's already expanded. And it says, click the more settings button and click the units drop down, which is going to be right here at the top. We're going to change it from pixels to inches in my case. And then we'll say, okay. And now here, this is 7.64 inches by 5.56 inches. We've changed that unit of measurement. Now we're going to change the stage color to 999999 right here. And we're going to change the width from 7.64 to 8. And I'm going to well, it's already unlocked. So it says type 8.0. That'll put leave it at 8, and the height put 6.0, and that'll put it at 6. And now we've changed the canvas and the stage color, and that should be the correct answer for task 13. Moving on to task 14. It says to add an actions layer above the existing layers. So it's for this one, we're going to click the bitmap layer in the timeline, and then we're going to click the new layer button. And then we're going to double click the name of the new layer and call it actions. And then it says on the actions layer, click frame 40. And we're going to click the insert menu, go to timeline, and click keyframe. We're adding a keyframe here. Click window. We're going to go to actions. And click the code snippets button, which is right here. Then it says click to the arrow left of action scripts to expand the folder. Click the arrow next to timeline navigation. And we're going to double click stop at this frame, which is this first option, which will add that code at frame 40. And that should be the correct answer for task 14. Moving on to task 15. I'm going to close this out. We're going to be adding dynamic text using the point text method below the existing text boxes on the screen. We need to name the text box text space and embed the font being used in that text box. Include uppercase and lowercase letters in the font embedding. So we're going to click the text tool. Click in the area below the existing text boxes. And we're going to type text space with lowercase txt and then capital SPA or capital S and then PACE. Click in the type text. Click the type text drop down arrow. It says to click the text type drop down arrow, and we need to click dynamic text, which mine is already set to that. If yours is set to static or input, change it here to dynamic text. And then it says in the character group, we're going to click the embed button, which is right here. And we're going to want to select the uppercase checkbox and select the lowercase checkbox, and then click the OK button. Then you can move on to the next question. Task 16, increase the stroke of the blue oval to 74. This is the easiest question so far. We have to select the blue oval on the stage in the properties panel. We're going to change the stroke size to 74.0. And that will increase the size of the stroke. All right, moving on to task 17. Give me one moment. I'm going to pause on this question. All right, thank you for your patience. Task 17, it says in the Sports 3A file, show the basketball layer and hide the tennis layer. Another easy question. We just click on the eye icon of the basketball layer to showcase the basketball, and then on the tennis layer, hide it by clicking that eyeball, and that should be the correct answer. Moving on to task 18, it says to save the animation wins 5 file as a template with the name animation wins template. Assign the animation category to the template. So we'll go file, save as template. And then it says in the name field, type animation wins template. Then click the category dropdown, and you're going to change this to animation. And then click the save button. And then you can go ahead and click next, and that should be the correct answer for task 18. Moving on to task 19. In the Sports 3 FLA document, we're needing to make these following changes. So we need to rename the basketball layer. So double click layer 1. This is where our basketball is. We're going to call this basketball, and double click layer 2, and we're going to call this horseshoes. Then we're going to click the new layer button, which is right here, and we're going to click and drag the new layer to the top of the layer stack, which mine's already there at the top of the layer stack. We're going to call this tennis. Now we need to go to our library, and we're going to drag the tennis JPEG to the right side of the stage over here. And we're going to click the eye icon in the basketball layer to hide the layer for right now. And that should be the correct answer for task 19. Moving on to task 20. We're going to create a new project to satisfy these following requirements. So we need to click the File menu, click New. We're going to click the Web category near the top, and we're going to select Medium as the preset. Then in the frame rate, we're going to change the value to 30, and then we'll click the Create button. In the Properties panel, we're going to expand the document settings, which mine's already expanded. And it says if needed, click More Settings, and then the Stage Color Fill box, which is right here. And we're going to change that to 333333, and then click OK. That looks the same, but I guess it should be like a dark color, and then I'm going to click OK. I think I clicked cancel earlier. And then you're going to click the File menu. You're going to click Save, and you're going to type medium gray. And then hit the save button. And this may need to be saved inside that GMetrix folder. Just to be safe, I'm gonna go ahead and save it in there. So application support, Adobe, CEP extensions, GMetrix templates. Well, maybe not. There is no Animate, CC, Lita. The file saved as medium gray to the GMetrix templates folder, but I guess I'll just save it into this folder, and I'll go ahead and click next. And that's correct. Now we're going to add a new keyframe from frame 26 to 30 in every layer. So it says independently for each layer in the timeline, highlight frames 26 through 30. So we're going to go to frame 26. And it says for each layer in the timeline, highlight frames 26 through 30. Need to go one more. And I think it would mean these down here too. It says add new keyframes from frame 26 to 30 in every layer for each layer in the timeline. Right click the selected frames, convert to keyframes. That's pretty easy. So right here, just click convert to keyframes. And I think you need to do this to, yeah, because it says every layer. So right click, convert to keyframe. And right here, convert to keyframe. And then you can click next. That should be correct. We're on task 22 now. It says use the current document to create a .exe file with the same name as the current file. Save the file to the same folder as the current file. So we're going to go File, click Publish Settings. Oops, I just clicked Publish. We're going to go to Publish Settings. Let me reset the task because I don't know if me clicking Publish now messes it up. We're going to go to File, Publish Settings. And then it says in the other formats section, which is right here, confirm that the Win projector checkbox is selected, and deselect all others. So I'm going to deselect these two up here, and then to click the Publish button. And then click OK. All right, we're on task 23. It says here to click on the area, you can decrease or increase horizontal spacing between a range of characters. That's going to be the tracking, which is this button right here. And so on the picture, you can go ahead and click on that button, and that should be the correct answer for task 23. Moving on to task 24, we need to match the terms. And we need to put them in the correct order of the project life cycle. So planning and analysis is going to be your first step. Step 2 is designing. Step 3 is building. Step 4 is testing a project. And then step 5 is implementing and then publishing. Moving on to task 25. Matching design principles with the correct definition. Scale is using the relative size of elements against each other to attract attention to a focal point. So scale would go for this one up here. And then repetition is creating visual consistency. So repetition would go down here. Contrast, creating differences between elements on a page. That's going to be here. Hierarchy contains elements that lead the reader through each element in order of significance. So that's going to be right here. Proximity is the spatial grouping of elements that look similar to one another. That'll be right here. And then harmony is pulling the composition of the image together by using repetition or rhythm. And that'll be correct for task 25. We can go ahead and move on to task 26. We're matching each animation principle to its correct description. Exaggeration is pushing movements further to add emphasis to the action. Slow in and slow out is adding more frames to the beginning and end of an action. to imply acceleration. Squash and stretch gives flexibility to objects. And secondary action are actions that support or emphasize the main action. Moving on to task 27. We're going to match the code part to its definition. So, mouse clicks and keyboard presses are two of the most common types of events. Code that dictates which block of code is to run when an event like a mouse click takes place inside. It is an event listener. So code that dictates which block of code to run when a mouse is clicked, that it says here is an event listener. And then a container used to store data. A container used to store data is a variable. A class defines properties for a specific type of object. Defines properties for a specific object, that's a class, a definer of objects. And then mouse clicks are events, common types of events. Task 28, we're dragging and matching each image type to its correct definition. So a GIF image is a raster-based animation sequence. And it's a GIF, by the way, not a GIF. That supports the raster-based animation sequence that supports transparency but limited colors. So it would be this one, limited colors. And then JPEG, raster-based static pixel image that supports millions of colors. And then vector-based is SVG. And then PNG is a raster-based animated sequence that supports transparency and millions of colors. And I realized I got this messed up here. JPEG belongs here. And PNG is the one that supports transparency. And that should be correct. I guess I got that mixed up with something. So GIF is raster-based animation sequence file that supports transparency but limited colors. I know I got that correct. Did I have JPEG right the first time? Raster-based static pixel image file that supports millions of colors. That should be correct. Static image that supports millions of colors. SVG is a vector-based image file. And then PNG is a raster-based animated sequence that supports transparency. That should be correct. Okay, I thought I had them in that order the last time. All right, here's our last question. Your animation company is making a project for younger age children. Which image best represents the chosen art style for the project? And the unicorn image best represents the art style for younger age children because the bird, flowers, and art appeal to an older audience than does the unicorn. I feel like that's subjective, but to get this correct on the test, the unicorn is correct. And that probably honestly is like the best for younger children. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the guide for practice exam 1 for Adobe Animate. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you'd like to see videos regarding movie reviews or unboxings of home entertainment, you can consider subscribing to this channel where I typically post that type of content. As you can see, we got a 965. That's most of those questions right. That one question I got wrong earlier, if anyone wants to comment maybe what I was missing, please let me know. I get things wrong all the time. Thank you all so much for your time. You can also check out my website if you'd like to. That's EscamilloTV.net. Until next time, y'all, this is Mr. Escamilla from EscamilloTV.net.